did special education go? That seems to be the topic that a lot of parents are discussing right now since Washington did some restructuring. And what I'm not hearing a lot of professionals say is this, and listen closely. Special education is the same place it's always been. I know, mind blown. It's not in Washington, D.C. That's not where special education is. Special education starts in your local school district. It starts at your local school. And specifically for your child, it starts at that IEP meeting table, or here in Texas, the ARD, the ARD meeting table. That's where special education starts. It starts when parents and teachers and sometimes students and therapists and administrators and evaluators and all of these people come together to make a plan on how a child is going to learn best in the school environment. That's where special education starts, and special education lives in that classroom with your child's teacher, or lives in those classrooms with your child's teachers. That's where special education is. It's not in Washington, D.C. So let's talk a little bit about what happened in Washington. Yes, they'd moved some things around, but does that change your child's rights? Absolutely not. The laws are still in place. The law is still the law. We still have the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. Your child is still entitled to a free, appropriate public education, FAPE. And here in Texas, we also have the Texas Education Agency that helps support our students with special needs and all of our students. So legally right now, it's not time to panic. It doesn't mean we don't keep an eye on what's going on in Washington and making sure that these laws are not changing, or at least not changing for the worse. Let's make sure they're changing for the better if we're going to make changes. But right now, what I want parents to hear is it's not time to panic, because special ed is the same place it's always been. It's in your child's classroom. That's where special education lives. And that's what I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about. And it begins with relationships. The foundation of special education is the relationships between the people at that IEP meeting. It's between the teachers. It's between the parents. You as a parent are the expert in your child. You know your child best. You have a right to say what you need to at that meeting and to advocate for your child. But it's also about collaboration and working together with those professionals so that your child has an amazing year. I'm also a parent and a former special education teacher. I have over 20 years in the business, and when I'm on some of these parent groups, because I need support too. Parenting is hard, and it's doubly hard when your child has any kind of learning difference. And I see a lot of parents posting things like, what's the best school district? Where should we move? What's the best school? Where does my child need to go to school? Where? And what makes me kind of chuckle about that is, honestly, it really doesn't matter. Because the truth of the matter is, it's the relationships between the people. You could be in the best school district here in Texas. You could have a huge continuum of services. And if you get a teacher that's kind of checked out, that's not really interested in doing her job anymore, or you get a principal that's like, yeah, sorry, we can't help you with that, your child's not going to have a very good year. And you're in a great school district that's got amazing ratings, but your child's probably not going to have a great year because those people are kind of checked out. You could be in the smallest school district in Texas, not very many services, but if you've got a teacher that loves her job and loves your child and an administrator that supports that teacher, your child's going to have an amazing year. So when I say special education hasn't gone anywhere, what I mean is it's about those relationships and the collaboration between those people at that IEP meeting table. And then it moves into the classroom, and a teacher that's excited and wants to be there and advocates for your children. that's when you're going to have good special education. So while we need to keep our eyes on Washington and see what they're doing and make sure they're not making any changes that are to the detriment of our children, we also need to be focused on the task at hand, and that's collaboration. And that's building those relationships with those local school professionals and making sure that we're advocating for our children to make sure they get what they need. And there's so many different things we can talk about, but I think I'll leave it there. And special education hasn't gone anywhere. Washington, the law is the floor, not the ceiling. We build the ceiling in that classroom. Thanks for listening. I would love to keep talking, so feel free to reach out.